Hi everyone, welcome to Friday afternoon and Mrs Rogers Ceylon Cinnamon Churros with a chili chocolate sauce. Yep, I practiced that and I'm getting better as I do it. So yeah, today we're going to make churros and obviously use Mrs Rogers Ceylon Cinnamon, which is a really beautiful cinnamon that they've got on the market at the moment. It's really nice because it has a more subtle floral flavour and because we're using it at the end and essentially eating it raw, sort of out of the box kind of thing. We're not cooking it in things. It's a really good flavour. You can also have it in tea and but just put it on your churros. It's way better. So yeah, today that's it. If you're looking for it, that's how it looks like, and it is divine. Actually, it's quite funny if you compare the two. They're very different in smell and even colour. So this one looks more like chocolate, which appeals to me. So churros, so easy. Doesn't actually matter what you do with them. It's just divine. So let's get them going. I have got 60 grams of butter. I've got three quarters of a cup of milk. Now I use full, sort of dark blue milk, because then we're going to put 3/4 of a cup of water, and then I am just using vanilla paste as a change today. So this is a good 3/4 of a teaspoon. Now if you really wanted to use just the seeds off a vanilla pod, just use 3/4 of the seeds out of the pod. Will give you the same kind of flavour. Now we just want to take this over without tripping up too much, and we need to bring this to the boil. Excuse me. The idea is to melt the butter and combine all the ingredients and bring it up to the boil. So while that's thinking about doing that, we don't need to stand here and stir it because it doesn't have any sugar in it, so technically it's not going to burn really quick. Let's do our dry ingredients. So I've got 1.5 cups of flour, just plain flour, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Now if you only had self-raising flour, that's fine as well, just omit the baking powder. I've got 3 teaspoons of caster sugar. Don't worry, we're adding a whole pile more sugar later. And a good 1/4 teaspoon of Mrs Rogers Premium Sea Salt. I actually used the Mrs Rogers grinder for that. As you could see, it was really fine, about the same as a caster sugar. But the purpose of the grinder is ideal because not only can you grind it in the lid and measure it out, you can also adjust the grinder very easily just by winding that up, and it will give you a much coarser grind. So if you wanted it sort of for on bread or something, or you're making some kind of nice croutons, you actually want chunks of salt without having chunks of salt. It's ideal. Anyway, let's give that a mix because I do want the baking powder to be distributed evenly amongst the flour. Okay, that's all we need. Just a little bit of that. Now we're going to be dipping our churros in a mixture of a good 1/2 cup of caster sugar and a really good rounded teaspoon of our Ceylon cinnamon. So we just want to carefully mix that together, and it will give us a nice, essentially cinnamon sugar, which is just yum. Actually, it's really nice. You can use the same combination to sprinkle on warm buttery toast in the morning. Really good. Okay, give that a shake. Get that going. So, right, now guys, I forgot to say, share, like, ask questions, comments. I've also gone live on Instagram, so which is a bit weird. I'm talking to 2 different cameras here. So yeah, if your friends are only on Instagram, just tell them, yeah, watch Mrs Rogers make churros live on Instagram. So let's check over here. Now my butter's starting to melt. Oop, I'm cooking with fire. Yep, and the steam's coming up. Now I'm going to make 2 different chocolate sauces. Well, try to anyway. So the first one is going to be a milk chocolate chili sauce, and the second one is going to be a white chocolate Ceylon cinnamon sauce. So fingers crossed they will be yum. So I've just got about 170 grams of chocolate. I like milk chocolate. You could use dark chocolate if you wanted, or a semi-sweet. I'm just a milk chocolate girl, and I'm going to eat this later, so I chose milk. Okay, now I've got a measure of half a cup of milk here. I'm only going to put half of it in because I just want to make sure I can get the consistency. Different chocolates will change how much milk you actually need to put in. Obviously, if you were using a dark chocolate, there's less oil, so you're going to probably need more milk. So I'll put half of it in and see. Now, I have 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, Mrs Rogers Cayenne Pepper, and I've got half a teaspoon of Mrs Rogers chili flakes. I just thought they would add a little bit of interest because obviously it's going to be quite a smooth sauce, but you want a bit of bite to that as well. So we'll do one sauce at a time. Whoop, and I'm boiling. I'm certainly brought to the boil there, but it's fine. So as you can see, the butter is melted and it's all warm. Now, we literally want to make a well in the center, pour all of that in and start stirring. Now what's going to happen is it's going to become a dough and start to get quite difficult, as you can see, to stir, but we need to get all of the flour stirred in or mushed in. I'm literally pushing it into the mixture, and that is the kind of dough that you are after. And that's it, guys. We're going to let that cool just a fraction because I don't feel like burning my hands off. And then I'll pop it into a piping bag, which I can show you while that's cooling. I'll just check my sauce. No, I didn't turn that on. I'm just going to put that on a really low heat and pray that it doesn't burn. Don't let me forget. How's your day going, everyone? Now, I went to my local cake shop and found the perfect churro. Now this is called a star shape, and what you are looking for, because they do sell star shape pastry nozzles. You could use a cake decorating nozzle if you wanted to, make really skinny ones. When it gets to this size, they're called pastry nozzles. And some of the stars go straight up, like the points are straight up. You want the one that curves in a bit, because the idea is to get as much cinnamon and sugar on it as we can. Now I'm using an 18-inch disposable bag, and you really just have to guess. Now I don't want to cut too much off. I'm going to cut about that much off and hopefully not drop it. Okay, so as you can see, I need to cut more off, but I'd rather do it that way than, because you can't stick it back on. Okay. And we really just need the nozzle out. So squeeze a little bit.
Nidhi says hello. Welcome back. Thank you for watching again.
So that's what you want. That's my contraption. And that'll allow me to make beautiful churros.
Don't forget your chocolate.
Don't forget the chocolate, thank you. No, that one's okay. Now I am just going to cut it a fraction more because I kind of want the base. I don't want to lose any of the batter around. And it's just plastic, guys, so just play with it. Get it right. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So now I've got my dough. I've got that. Let me show you this other one. So in my white chocolate cinnamon sauce, I'm going to put about 170 grams of white chocolate and half of my milk.
And yes, it is another yummy recipe, says Red Max. You're absolutely right.
Okay, and a good teaspoon of the Ceylon cinnamon, and I just need to bring that up to melting point as well. Now I'm not going to put it on my really hot element that I just took my milk off because I don't want it to burn. So I'm sorry, it has to go up the back. It's not that we don't like it, it's just that I don't want to put it on a hot element and burn. It's really tricky to cook with chocolate, and I could be using a double boiler, but I kind of don't have to. I often use a microwave to melt my chocolate if I'm just wanting a little bit to drizzle over the kids' ice cream. So that seems to be warming my chocolate lumps through quite nicely. Okay, so let me show you this one. Now, this is, yep, it's at a temperature where I'm not going to burn my hands off because you just poured boiling mixture in there. So just be aware, you don't have to go too fast. I wouldn't leave it until it's cold, but leave it, you know, a few minutes just so that you're not in serious pain. And then we're just wanting to get all of that mixture in there because it can be a little bit tricky to open the bag again. We just want to push it down. It's actually really nice on a cold winter's day to do this. Now don't push too hard, you don't want to pop your bag. As you can see, it's just starting to come out the top there. Just because I want my churros to look pretty, I'm just going to push. Now, I'll tell you about my deep fryer. I bought this from Kmart. It was like $29. You could do this easily if you wanted to on the stove. However, I like this because I feel safe walking away from it. It's got a thermostat in it, so it will keep my oil at 180 degrees and I don't have to watch it too much. So, because it will keep it at 180 degrees. If you're doing it on the stove, that's fine. Now, as you can see, the mixture is quite thick and I'm hoping, oh, I burst my bubble. Don't stress, it's fine. I have more over here. This is the problem when you're working with these sorts of bags, that they actually might not, I might need to double bag it. I didn't the other night, so let's, fingers crossed. I probably did cut too much off. So again, you want it just so that the top can easily come out.
Without bursting.
Without bursting. There. Fingers crossed this will work. Now, I'm not going to waste that bag that I had. I'm just going to, like Play-Doh, push this guy in here. And you may actually need to double bag this mixture because it is quite hard. So, if that ever happens to you, whether you're making donuts or icing or anything else that you would like to do with a bag, actually I'm just going to make it in. Use the bag. Use the other bag that burst in the bag. That'll just give you more push power. So that will give you a double bag. So fingers crossed, the inside bag will take the pressure and the outside bag will control the donut. So let's get our churros in. Just slowly ease it in. And my guy's falling that way, so I'm going to go like that. Now before, don't burn yourself. You want to drop them in. Now these do take a little while to cook, about 3 minutes each. And you can do it as short or long as you want. I'm just going to do with 2 in there. And I don't know if you can see they're cooking nicely. Now I need to check these chocolates. So this one's melting really nicely. And I'm not going to add any more milk, because I think by the time this chocolate melts, I will have a nice consistency. Now, if you're worried at all about your chocolate burning, just take it off the element, because it's still going to be warm and it will allow you to melt the chocolate. However, luckily, it hasn't burnt. Now I'm going to check my white chocolate. Oh, yum, that smells divine. Oh, yum. The white chocolate and Ceylon cinnamon would have to be my favorite, but that's because I'm a real sweet girl. So guys, if you've got any questions as I'm cooking away here, please feel free to ask, or, you know, if you just want to tell us if you've made churros before. Tell us if you made our donuts that we made a couple of weeks ago for Donut Day. Let us know. Now, the good thing is if you did want to serve these and you wanted your, you can pre-make your chocolate sauce is what I'm trying to get out. So if you want to just concentrate on your churros, you don't have to do everything at once. It really doesn't matter.
You just like a challenge.
I just like a challenge. Well, it seems silly to do 2 or 3 different lives to show you 2 or 3 different things, and it shows you that you can do it. Now, all we want to do is make sure all the chocolate is melted, which I'm fairly sure it is. Oh, yum. And now I'm going to put that in my serving bowl. Now, as it cools, it will thicken. If you wanted to serve it warm, you absolutely could. Churros going nicely. Now, we just want a really dark golden brown on our churros. Now, I wish you had smell-o-vision. This Ceylon cinnamon's nice. It's not quite melted, so I'm just going to keep stirring because the warm liquid around the chocolate lumps will melt it. And obviously, if you had smaller pieces of chocolate, it wouldn't take too long to cook it all, or melt, I should say, because we're not cooking it. Don't forget to go and check out our Instagram page, Mrs Rogers NZ. I'm actually live on Instagram at the same time as being live with you guys. So, hi Instagram people. I've got 2 people, 3 people including the cameraman watching me so far that I know of. So, I am just going to be really naughty. I don't normally do this. Oh my goodness, that's a really nice invention of mine. Okay, let's pour that in. Yum! Okay, these guys are looking really good. So, as you can see, they're quite a golden brown colour. I want to pop them in here. And I found the best way is to shake a bit because you want to get up the sides. Oh my goodness. Now, you have to just not want to eat these straight away because they will burn you. So let's just pop these down. And of course I'm going to keep cooking the mixture, but I just thought I'd show you what those churros actually look like. Divine. So, easy as pie. Just, yeah, make churros, try them. I really want to try putting some cinnamon in some. I really want to try chocolate churros. But hey, Mrs Rogers Ceylon cinnamon churros with chili chocolate sauce. I'm just going to hopefully not burn myself too much. There's the inside, nicely cooked.
Go and dip it.
And I'm going to dip it. Oh. And bite.
We heard that.
Oh, nice. It's hot.
Try the other one.
I'm going to double dip.
So that's the white chocolate Ceylon cinnamon dip.
So good, guys, so good. Please try it at home. If you can't go out and buy a nozzle, just make round ones, make blobs, but just try the mixture. You could do quite skinny ones and have them sticking up in a glass to dip down. Yeah, you can just buy these bags and just snip a little bit off the end and just make solid round tubes. Oh my God, definitely looking good. So guys, thanks Thanks for watching. I'm going to go and keep making. Happy weekend.